So there is this question for Dr. Smartha. Mass communication uses word of mouth communication. In the present times, how can digital media can be used in niche market?
Okay, I think word of mouth is a very important medium. The word of mouth has a prerequisite, and that is a credibility at source. Now, if the credibility of source has been built up in your social media and other contextual, really technological or even, let's say, telecommunication medium or also social media or any other media, you will find there is a proper message going on. But today is a time of narratives, not as much as positioning or this or that. Today, how much narrative you are, what narrative you have, what communication you are making, and who is the credible source out of that communication, that can be channelized even in today's generation or today's time.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Mr. Smartha. There is one more question. How can we measure customer satisfaction data for the niche?
Okay, I think that's a research method which we usually use before really conducting the kind of experiment you would like to do or the kind of product you want to launch, because it's a continuous process. At least in pharmaceutical, we do continuous post-marketing surveillance, which is basically finding out the customer satisfaction survey. Before launching, during launch, after launch, what kind of issues they have. So obviously, there's a research methodology, which is a customer satisfaction and a corporate satisfaction. Both the satisfaction levels can be found out. We can measure them in a statistical way, provided we do the research properly.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your answer. The next question is for Mr. Lele. How can the testing and processing be done now in the new normal times?
Testing as in what? Taste or TAST, taste?
Testing, no, TEST testing.
So like I said, as long as you're in the essential supply chain, you can definitely, you will have market. And since I didn't have enough time at that time, I spoke about the 6,000 rupee basket that every family has. You have to ensure that how you get into the basket. So either it is through replacing a like for like kind of a product, or just making an entry into the basket as a new product. So that's the strategy you'll have to come up so that you can get into the basket of each and every family. Hello.
I think Rajeshri is lost.
Yeah, I think Rajeshri got logged out. So, any more questions from the audience? Do we have? I'm just trying to go through the chat box and I don't see any questions here from the audience. Yeah.
If I can ask Dr. Smartha and
there is one question.
Yeah.
There is one question which says, how, sir, Dr. Smartha, sir, how would social media be used to reach out to the niche market, at this point of time? How the ways of social media can be used?
See, social media or any other media, when we are looking at it, requires the data to really reach. So obviously, if data is not there of your niche customers, then it will be futile to really do the social marketing. Because for the purpose of the start of social marketing is the data. Now, if you don't have data, you don't have proper IDs, you don't have any specification of your customer segment, it's going to be difficult. Now, in a product like consumer product, it will be too difficult because it's a heterogeneous market. It's not a homogeneous market. So in the heterogeneous market, you are really trying to really push it, the social media, it will be like Times of India, and every page will be dependent on somebody will look at only matrimonial, somebody will look at last 2 pages of sports, somebody look at editorial. So this is a kind of segment, your segment will get bifurcated. So social media will be working, but how much it will work for you is a God who knows. So I think for that purpose, prerequisite is the data. If you have data, yes, you can even start even call centers if you have data. Why only social marketing? So data is very important, and it will happen. You will have data only when it goes to the personalized, let's say, servicing or personalized nutrition, that time you may have a data of each person or each family.
Yeah. So, Dr. Smarta, if I can just come in here. So, which means that there are organizations who can provide you this kind of data, like depending on what kind of product I'm launching, what kind of clientele I'm looking at. So, how do I get that data? So, there are organizations who can provide us this data. What is the way, to get that data?
One is your own census you need to do, because data is not available, so you census you do. Census could be with the key opinion leaders, because there are leaders, as we say. For our nutraceuticals, you require influencers. This is one of the prerequisites of influencer. The influencer could be anybody. It could be a kind of, a small entrepreneur who is visiting 50 families, where the multimedia marketing has been developed. So you have small entrepreneurs take up their goods and they service the people. As long as he has contacts, he makes a chain and chain and chain. So there's an influential part. So unless there's an influential people, and if you can identify them, then you can perhaps go to the data banks, which could be available. At least in pharmaceuticals we have. Nutraceuticals I do not know, but associations are there, where even the patients associations are there. So patient data are available. You have diabetic population available in each part of the Mumbai city or each part of India. So there are associations available. I do not know whether there are other data available, but maybe we'll have to find out that.
I have a question for Mr. Lele. Mr. Lele, you said that you have to ensure that your product reaches that basket. I want you to answer the same question, taking your story, as to where you started to be an entrepreneur and where you are, and have you reached the basket of the people for 6,000?
Yeah, so that's the biggest challenge everybody has. And I'll give you first slightly different example, and then I'll talk about my product. So for example, cold press oils are now making a big noise, right? A lot of people are talking about cold press oils having certain health benefits over our typical solvent extracted or refined oils. So refined oil is at around 100 rupees a liter, whereas cold press oils are being sold, let's say, at 300 rupees a liter. So a family of 3 is consuming 3 liters of oil a month. So that's a 300 rupees bill. Whereas if I switch over to cold press oil, it will become 900 rupees. So am I really willing to make that change of 600 rupees additional expense as a family? Or someone has to educate me, or like sir said, there has to be certain influencers or maybe a dietitian or nutritionist who will say, no, that 600 rupees is definitely a good thing. So it's a like for like replacement. There could be a like for slightly different replacement. So for example, I'm consuming wheat and making chapati at home, but because of lack of time, now I'm purchasing bread or pizza base or buns or burgers or whatever. So it could be a like for like replacement, or it could be a slightly alternative kind of a replacement, or it can be a totally new addition where we didn't take much health supplements, vitamin D3, B12, whatever, but now we have started taking it. So it's a new entrant, and my basket has increased from 6,000 to 6,500, or I've cut down on some other things. As far as my product is concerned, which were on the beverages segment, so unfortunately I was in a Me Too kind of a category, but I was playing in a slightly different way. So I call it that you have the likes of the big players. I don't want to name any of them, but you have the big players. I call them playing the IPLs or the international cricket, and I am playing the Kanga League. So they don't know I exist, but I'm playing in rural Ratnagiri, 9 talukas. I'm in Chiprun district. Chiprun taluka has 176 villages. I know exactly which product reaches which store and in what frequency. So there is a demand supply gap that I'm playing on. My price point is 10 rupees, whereas most of these players, their minimum price point is 20 rupees. So I'm playing on the price point segment. I'm playing on markets where they are not able to reach. I'm playing on efficient supply chain. So most of my distributors are like small time. One of them is what is called a police patil. So he's from that village. So he'll put 5 boxes, 10 boxes with a rickshaw guy and say, hey, 2 boxes to this store, 3 boxes to this store, remaining boxes to this store, which probably is not possible for some of these big players who are, having this big trucks and all that and reaching to the bottom of the pyramid kind of the population. So product was Me Too, but the distribution was different. The price point was different. A lot of other strategies we used, because of which we have been able to reach to the end customer. I always say that a 10 rupee price point is not a like to like comparison. The same kid may today opt for a Cadbury's, tomorrow may opt for a batata vada or vada pav, or he may opt for a beverage, or he may opt for anything. So that everybody is fighting for that same 10 rupee note that is in someone's pocket. So you have to come up with a strategy as to how you get into a nice to have kind of a thing, and you are there when the consumer really needs it.
So I'm now connecting the two questions, what I asked Dr. Smarta and what I asked you. So is it possible to get your database where you are reaching? I think you are reaching to such important people where the nutrition should actually reach, where the big players probably are not making that kind of difference. So do you think these budding entrepreneurs, or the kind of students who are listening to this conversation today, if they come out with some meaningful ideas and they want to reach out to that clientele, do you think you'll be in a position to provide that kind of data to them or the network?
Yes, I am always available. But let me tell you the number of kilometers or miles that I have driven in last 5 to 10 years across Maharashtra, all 36 districts and all 356 talukas. And like, these are the statistics I know at the top of my head, that how many villages are there, how many stores are in every village, what is the population, what is the male female ratio. So it's very easy to sit in AC offices and talk about data. It's actually being on the outside and traveling and connecting to people, and it can be done, but it's the hard work. Unfortunately, many people don't want to do it, but people who will do it, I'm very sure, will be successful in time to come. But to answer your question, I am always available. I never say no, right? So I'm available. Whatever I can do, I can do.
Yeah, thank you so much for those.
Sure.
I think there are two questions from students. Rajeshri, you would like to take them?
Yes.
Questions are there in the chat box. Yeah.
Yeah. There is a question to Mr. Lele. Where do you see alternative meat startups in India?
Okay, so that is definitely one of the exciting space that we are hearing on a daily basis. In fact, today also in the morning, I spoke to a startup, another friend of mine who has made egg substitute from vegetarian sources. There's an advocacy group called Good Food Institute. I encourage people to connect, or at least follow them on LinkedIn and all that. But I think smart protein or this plant protein is probably still in the nice to have segment in India. In the Western world, where they are predominantly non-veg eating, most of their protein is coming from red meat, and they have started realizing certain harmful effects, including greenhouse gases and all that. So there's a shift towards eating vegetarian protein and vegetarian food. India traditionally 50% I would say is vegetarian, and even the non-vegetarians are following Tuesdays and Thursdays and so many other things. So predominantly we are eating a lot of vegetarian food, vegetarian meat, vegetarian protein. Secondly, India, 70% of the population is still living at $2 or $3 per day or less. So 200 rupees person doesn't really have a choice to go and say, hey, I don't want to eat a chicken or a mutton, or he wants food. So it's still in the nascent stages, I feel, in India. As we become more aware, and but definitely US is seeing large growth. And why should we look at only India as a market? If world wants it, make it and sell it to them. Why not?
Yeah, correct.
Yes, correct. There is one more question in a similar line. The question is, which segment provided most profit during pandemic and how?
A lot of segments. I mean, I have Chitale Bandhu and their owners are good friends of mine, and they told me in confidence that they have been running their factory like it's Diwali time. So it's surprising. Even things like pani puris, you couldn't really predict what segments would really boom. But as soon as the lockdown period of those first 2-3 months opened up, people just went crazy, and almost everything was sold off in ready to eat. In fact, we have a retort unit near Satara. We did a business of more than the whole year. What we did in last year, we did the same business in 2 months' time. Of course, we were supplying to the government and to the isolation wards and all that. But initially, it was a little difficult to predict. But a lot of food businesses, health businesses, nutraceuticals, you name it, the key was to be available. I mean, most of the time the product were not available, packaging material was not available, labels were not available, and many times that was the challenge. Otherwise, I'm sure a lot of food businesses especially have done really well.
Very, very good.
So would you like to quote a particular segment where the profit, where there is a lot of loss has occurred?
Yeah, certain segments like ice cream industry took a big hit. Even beverages, like even us, we have taken hits because we thrive on the summer months, and the harsh lockdown was actually in the months of end of
Yes.
March, April, May, June, when we do almost 60% of our annual sales. So some of us have taken where seasonality is a big part of our demand. So some of us, but we have to adapt, we have to reinvent, and most of us will, I think, come back. So I feel these couple of industries have taken the big hit during the lockdown.
Yeah, wonderful. I think all these answers are a bit of learning for us all. Yeah, thank you. Madhuri ma'am, shall we continue with the question answer? Shall we take up one more question, or we'll move to the next session? Because I think there is only hardly 30 minutes.
Yeah, because I think we just have half an hour more to, continue with the conversation with the students. So I think we should continue with that now. Thank you so much,
Yes.
sir,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Smata,
Thank you.
Dr.
Thank you very much.
Nilesh.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I think we can take
Thank
the
you.
remaining questions
Thank you.
after the presentation.
Probably, yes. Yeah.
Yes.
But I'll
Please
have to
send
log
us.
off because I have another session at 4. So I have another training at
Also,
4.
I also
Okay.
will have to log
Thank you.
off at now 4 o'clock. You can send the questions to us. It will be our pleasure
Yeah.
to read. Nilesh, what do you say? Huh?
Yes.
Okay.
We are always
Yes.
available. WhatsApp,
Right.
anytime.
Okay. Right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you very
Nilesh.
much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Thank
thank you,
you.
Smata,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So,